you torn your clothes? Please let him come to me, and he shall know that there's a prophet in Israel. Then Naaman went with his horses and chariot. He stood at the door of Elijah's house. And Elisha sent a message to him saying, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh will be restored to you, and you shall be clean. But Naaman became furious and went away saying, indeed, I say to myself, he will surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord, his God, and wave his hand over the place and heal the leprosy. Are not the Abana and the Pharpar and the rivers of Damascus better than all the waters of Israel? Could I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage. And his servants came in and spoke to him and said, my father, if the prophet had told you to do something great, would you not have done it? How much more then when he says to you, wash and be clean? So Naaman went down and dipped 7 times in the Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God. And his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. For the few moments that I have before you, I like to deal with this subject matter. You got to dip to be delivered. For a recurring theme I like to use, I dare you to take a dip. Oftentimes, life journeys takes us on difficult and extreme things that test our faith. There are times that we really need to set ourselves aside and concentrate on the God that we believe in. I can remember being young and being told, if you do this, then this is going to happen. Right. Or don't do this because this will be the consequences. And when I asked, well, how do you know that? The answer was simply, just trust me. As time has gone on, I find it hard to understand why people can trust the words of a man, but find it so hard to trust God. There always seems to be this doubt, this uncertainty, this fear factor that provokes people to get angry with God when he doesn't do what they want, when they want, and how they want. But I stopped by here tonight to let you know one thing, that God does whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and however he wants, because he is God. So I look to the text, and in this text I see a certain man called Naaman. He was a mighty man of valor. He was a decorated warrior, but he was wounded. Now Naaman was highly favored by the king, but all his accolades and all his victories couldn't save him from being a leper. See, somebody needs to say wounded. Leprosy, a disease that starts in the skin, but it seems to work its way down into your joints. And when it does that, it causes you to lose feeling in your hands and your toes. And then if it gets bad enough, then you find them falling off. But see, I need somebody that can identify tonight this lost feeling for something, that's lost that sensitivity to the things of God. What you need to do is say, God, help me to get my feeling back. Because see, somebody here has lost their feeling, they lost their way. And certain things that that God has ordained them to do, they don't do. I don't feel this way anymore because nobody makes me feel that special anymore. But see, it's not about the way you feel. It's about God. And see, a hopeless situation can be turned around by God. See, somebody's in a marriage and they're thinking it's over, but God can turn it around. See, somebody feels like they aren't appreciated in a relationship, but God can turn it around. Somebody shout, Lord, help me feel again. Now, as I go to the text, verse 2, it said how the Syrians had gone out on a raid. And they took the young girl and they made a maidservant of Naaman's wife. So she was in captivity the whole time. Somebody say captivity. But see, beloved, it's amazing how God can send a word from somebody who's in bondage themselves already to speak to your situation right where you are. But see, she says if only my master would go see the prophet in Samaria, he will be healed. But beloved, it's something here because Naaman didn't really receive this word. See, Naaman had to go to the king. And when Naaman went to the king, he was seeking the king's affirmation. But see, isn't it like God that when you get a word of prophecy, he's going to send his confirmation. So once he sends his confirmation, then all we got to do is just appropriate our faith. Because faith comes by hearing and hearing the word of the Lord. So I don't know about you, but God made me a promise. And if he made you a promise, then you don't need anybody's approval to get what God has for you. His word won't return to him void, and he will come through for you. But But since he didn't receive this word, see, that means he was in doubt. Now, how many of you know you can't doubt God if you need something from him? You got to believe in the God that you trust in and believe that he will do what he said he would do. You see, now, for receiving permission, Naaman got a letter. He gathered together silver, gold, fine clothes, and he went off to the king of Israel. He presented the king with all these things. It sounds like Naaman was pretty desperate to me. It says that maybe in today's currency, Naaman had maybe about $1 million to present to the king. But how many of you know that when you're in trouble, you can't waste time with these mail order prophets. You can't go asking for a bottle of spring water to get your miracle. You can pray over this handkerchief, plug on it, do all you want to do, mail it to me, I'm just going to mail it back, return it to sender. So you can't buy your way out when you're in trouble. You got to cry your way out. You got to say, Lord, if you don't do this thing for me, it ain't going to get done. I done tried all the conventional methods, but it ain't no way out. If you don't show up, I won't make it, God. So somebody say deliverance in this place tonight. See, when Naaman gets the letter to the king, he said, oh my God, can I kill and bring back to life? It's nothing worse than going to somebody for some help and they ain't got no power. Come on now. But God has given us the power to do whatever it is that we need to do. So we don't have to depend on nobody but him and the power that's invested in us. See, Naaman went to the wrong person and got the wrong results. He did what he wanted to do instead of what he's supposed to do. See, that sounds familiar, see. For we do everything that we want to do, and then once everything fails, it's back to God. See, we got a plan A for what we want to do, and then if our plan A don't work, it's plan B God. But really, God should be plan A. There's no plan B whatsoever. But if you must have a plan B says go back to plan A. God. No. The text. The text says that Elijah hears about this situation and he sends a word to the king. He says, King, why are you tearing your clothes? If you just send this man to me, then he's going to know there's a prophet in Samaria. See, Naaman went looking for a king when he was supposed to go looking for a prophet. See, he got the right word, but he took it the wrong way, like we do so many times. So then we walk around looking for validation, say, guess what God told me? But somebody tell you, I didn't get the same thing. We get mad, but you got to get the right word at the right time from the right source, which is God. Somebody say God in this place. Going down to verse 9, Naaman comes to Elisha, and he shows up with horses and chariots, and he brings the whole crew with him. Somebody said he got everybody. He wanted everybody with him. He wanted to show off his pride, show off his arrogance, and say, this is how I roll. So one thing he didn't realize, when you come to God, you got to come humble. See, God don't care what you got. He don't care the accolades you have, the education you have, the bank accounts you have, because he gave it all to you. And just as easy as he gave it to you, he can take it away. Somebody got to understand this thing tonight. So Naaman was sitting outside, and Elijah says, okay, he's going to show up and roll up on me like this. Brendan, go tell him to go wash in the Jordan. That's all I got to say. Okay, so Naaman gets mad. He says, wait a minute. I'm sure that he will come out here and bow down to me and call on the name of his God and heal me. But see, Naaman had an issue with the Jordan. See, it was something about the Jordan that folk didn't like. See, the Jordan was dirty, and there was a whole bunch of mess in it, kind of like this Elizabeth River. But see, he missed the revelation in that. See, God will let you go in a dirty situation, so when your mess starts to fall all over you, won't nobody see how dirty you really are. See, all this washed away in the wash. See, what God does is he shields you and protects you. See, when folk really know who they were sitting beside, they might get up and move away. But there's something about God telling you and hiding you and bringing you to a better place that is the magical thing, a miraculous thing. Now touch your neighbor and say, God has no respect for persons. See, Naaman tries to put terms and conditions on his own. And when things didn't go his way, he got mad. He stormed off. But see, his attitude determined his latitude. See, touch your neighbor and say, neighbor, don't let your attitude mess up your deliverance. Because it'll do it every time. You come in here mad at the world, coming in here Sunday after Sunday, leaving the same way you came. Your attitude determines your latitude. If you don't change your mind, you won't change your circumstances. Change your mind first, and then the circumstances come behind it. Somebody give God some praise here.